A long time ago, in a quaint village nestled deep within a snowy valley, the winters were harsh, but the community was warm and close-knit. The villagers would gather around the fire, sharing stories and legends passed down through generations. One such legend spoke of a magical snowman who came to life one frosty evening. This snowman wasn't just any ordinary creation. He was brought to life by an ancient, mysterious magic that the villagers could never quite understand. He had a corncob pipe and a button nose, and his eyes were made of coal. But these simple features belied the extraordinary magic that animated him. Frosty the Snowman was his name, a jolly, happy soul who brought joy and laughter to the children of the village. They would dance and sing around him, their faces lit up with pure delight. He spread Christmas cheer to children everywhere, becoming a beloved figure in the village's festive celebrations. His presence was a beacon of happiness during the cold, dark winter months. Or so the story goes. The tale of Frosty the Snowman has been told and retold, each time with a little more magic and wonder added to it. But what if there was more to this story than met the eye? But what if the real story was far more sinister? What if the magic that brought Frosty to life wasn't as innocent as it seemed? The villagers had always wondered about the origins of this magic, but they never dared to question it too deeply. What if Frosty's magic wasn't as innocent as it seemed? What if it was tied to something darker, something that the villagers had long forgotten or chosen to ignore? The glow in Frosty's eyes, once seen as a sign of his magical nature, now seemed to hold a more ominous meaning. The truth, hidden for centuries, is far more terrifying. Ancient texts and forgotten manuscripts hinted at a powerful enchantment, one that could bring inanimate objects to life but at a great cost. These secrets were buried deep, locked away in the annals of history. This is the real story of Frosty the Snowman, a tale not just of joy and cheer but of ancient magic, hidden truths, and the dark consequences of meddling with forces beyond our understanding. Prepare yourself for a journey into the unknown, where the line between myth and reality blurs, and the true nature of Frosty's magic is revealed. Deep in the annals of history, a different tale unfolds. This is not a story of heroes or grand battles, but of a shadowy secret that has been buried for centuries, hidden from the eyes of the world. A tale of a sorcerer, desperate for immortality. This sorcerer, whose name has been lost to time, was a master of the arcane arts. He delved into forbidden knowledge, seeking a way to extend his life beyond the natural limits. He sought to cheat death, to preserve his essence in something timeless. The sorcerer spent countless nights in his dimly lit study, surrounded by ancient tomes and mystical artifacts, searching for the elusive secret to eternal life. He found his answer in the heart of winter. The cold, unyielding landscape of snow and ice held a certain allure, a promise of preservation and purity that the sorcerer could not resist. Snow, pure and eternal, held the key. The sorcerer believed that the untouched crystalline structure of snowflakes could be the vessel for his immortality. He theorized that if he could bind his essence to the snow, he could live forever. He crafted a golem, a being of snow and ice, imbued with stolen magic. This golem was not just a simple construct, it was a vessel, a container for the sorcerer's soul. He poured all his knowledge and power into this creation, hoping it would grant him the eternal life he so desperately sought. This was no ordinary snowman, this was an abomination. The golem, with its glowing eyes and sinister presence, was a testament to the sorcerer's hubris and desperation. It was a creature born of dark magic and forbidden knowledge, a shadowy secret that would haunt the world for generations to come. The sorcerer, in his hubris, chanted ancient words. He breathed life into the snow. Two coal eyes flickered open. A twisted grin spread across the snowman's face. Frosty wasn't born of joy and laughter. He was forged in darkness, animated by stolen life force. His magic was real, but it was corrupt, twisted, and he craved more. The village awoke to a winter wonderland. Snow blanketed everything, sparkling under a cloudless sky. But something was wrong. The air was deathly silent. No children laughed. No dogs barked. The only sound was the crunch of footsteps, Frosty's footsteps, growing closer. His coal eyes burned with an unholy light. He had come to claim what he believed was his. One by one, villagers vanished. Their screams were swallowed by the snow. Frosty, once a symbol of merriment, became a harbinger of death. His touch was fatal, freezing hearts from the inside out. He drained the warmth, the life force of all he encountered. And with each victim he grew stronger, more monstrous. The village, once full of life, became a ghost town. Section 6. The Search for Answers. A handful of survivors huddled in the old church, fear their only companion. They whispered of the sorcerer's legend, of the creature he created. Their only hope lay in unraveling the sorcerer's magic, in finding a way to stop Frosty. But how do you fight a creature born of winter itself? Time was running out. Frosty was coming. Section 7. A Glimmer of Hope. Deep in the church archives, they found it, a hidden scroll containing the sorcerer's incantations. There, in faded ink, lay the secret to Frosty's undoing, but the ritual was dangerous, requiring a sacrifice of unimaginable magnitude. They needed to offer something of equal value to the life force Frosty had stolen, but what could match such a price? Section 8. The Ultimate Sacrifice. As Frosty's shadow fell upon the church door, a young woman stepped forward. She was the last descendant of the sorcerer, carrying his blood, his legacy. In her hand she held a vial, filled with the sorcerer's own life essence, the source of Frosty's power. She would offer herself, her life, to undo her ancestors' sin. Her sacrifice was their only hope. Section 9. A Chilling Legacy. The air crackled with energy as the young woman chanted the incantation. The vial shattered, sending shards of glass flying through the air. Each fragment seemed to carry a piece of the spell, shimmering with an eerie light. The church, once a place of solace and peace, now felt like the epicenter of a brewing storm. The walls seemed to hum with the residual energy of the incantation, and the very air felt thick with anticipation. It was as if the building itself was holding its breath, waiting for the next moment to unfold. A blinding light engulfed the church, followed by a silence so profound it was deafening. The light was so intense that it seemed to erase the very shadows, leaving nothing but a stark white void. For a moment time itself seemed to stand still. The villagers outside, who had gathered in anxious curiosity, shielded their eyes from the overwhelming brightness. When the light finally receded, it left behind an emptiness that felt almost tangible. The church, now bathed in an unnatural stillness, seemed to echo with the absence of what had just transpired. When the villagers dared to look, Frosty was gone. The space where he had stood was now just an empty void, a stark contrast to the vibrant presence he once had. The villagers, who had come to both fear and revere the creature, were left in a state of shock. They whispered among themselves, trying to make sense of what had happened. The snowy field, which had been the stage for so many of Frosty's appearances, now felt desolate and abandoned. It was as if the very essence of winter had been stripped away, leaving behind a hollow shell. All that remained was a pile of snow and a single black button. The button, once part of Frosty's cheerful facade, now seemed to carry a weight of its own. It lay there, half buried in the snow, a silent testament to the creature that had once been. The villagers approached it cautiously, as if expecting it to spring to life at any moment. But it remained still, a stark reminder of the magic that had been both wondrous and terrifying. The snow around it began to melt, leaving a small dark patch on the otherwise pristine ground. The sorcerer's magic was broken, his creature undone. He stood there looking defeated, surrounded by the remnants of his once powerful spells. The magical items that had been his tools now lay scattered and broken, their auras dissipating into the cold air. The sorcerer had poured his heart and soul into creating Frosty, and now, all that effort had come to naught. He could feel the weight of his failure pressing down on him, a heavy burden that seemed to sap the very warmth from his bones. The villagers watched him with a mixture of pity and relief, knowing that the threat had finally been neutralized. But the memory of Frosty lived on, a chilling reminder that even the purest things can be twisted into something monstrous. The villagers couldn't shake the image of the creature from their minds. Every time they looked at the snow-covered landscape, they half expected to see Frosty's ghostly form materialize before them. The once beautiful winter scenery now felt haunted, as if the very air was filled with whispers of the past. The children, who had once played joyfully in the snow, now avoided it, fearing that they might accidentally summon the creature back. The legacy of Frosty had left an indelible mark on the village, a constant reminder of the thin line between wonder and terror. And somewhere, deep within the frozen heart of winter, a single coal eye flickered, waiting for its chance to return. The eye, once part of Frosty's cheerful face, now seemed to hold a malevolent glint. It lay hidden beneath the snow, biding its time, waiting for the right moment to reawaken. The villagers, though relieved that the immediate threat was gone, couldn't shake the feeling that this was not the end. They knew that as long as that coal eye remained, the possibility of Frosty's return would always loom over them. The winter, once a season of joy and celebration, had now become a time of vigilance and unease. The chilling legacy of Frosty was far from over,